This is game number 1, and of course the pressure is really on now, because while both of these two players have made it into the part of the tournament where obviously you can start getting some money, it starts ramping up very quickly. It starts doubling with every series you win now. But I'll get into that in a second. First, to the top left, we have got the yellow Zerg player, representing Alien Invasion, none other than Golden. And his opponent to the lower right, the blue Protoss, we have first. So this is the third series of PvZ that First is going to be throwing down, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of strategy he goes for. These two players have both taken down some pretty formidable foes. I'd especially say that's true on the side of First, who in his first round took out Johnny Rico, his second round aces Bly to get here. Golden, on the other hand, he went through Ascending and then Senin to be up against First. So, quite different runs. It's going to be interesting to see how Golden faces up against First. Opening so far, nothing too crazy. We'll note that First has taken a pylon in his main. So unlike his previous two series, not going to be opening with a Forge first in the first game. Meanwhile, Golden is going to be looking for that hatch first though on King Sejong Station. Playing it nice and safe, quite economic focused here, nothing too greedy, nothing too aggressive coming down yet from the Zerg player. So this should be a relatively fun early matchup. Meanwhile, First actually goes for a Nexus first now. So this is going to be a very economic focused game from both of these two players. I'm going to just cruise into the mid game now pretty happily actually. So as I promised, let me explain a bit about the prize pool and how it works from now on. These two guaranteed at least some money. Third, fourth gets 75 euros. So if you lose here, you're guaranteed that. If you win this game though, you'll go home with a minimum of 150 euros. And if you win the finals up against Snoot, you get 300 euros. 300 euros for essentially what is going to be around 2.5, 3 hours of your time is a very nice paycheck. Something that these players are obviously going to be gunning for. Opening's very aggressive by Golden. He's going double hatch before Paul. And I use aggressive as in greedy, not as in he's going to try and kill First anytime soon. But seriously, going hatch Paul is aggressively expanding. He's taking quite a big risk by doing this, and it's a problem for First, because First can't really punish this. He knows it's coming, he knows that's the opening thanks to this probe scout, but what do? You just sit there and you're like, oh well, I'll wait. I will patiently sit here, twiddle my thumbs, and be like, I'll get down my Cybercore now. And all this tech is so heavily delayed because of the Nexus First. So on an economic footing, we're actually seeing First be alright. He's slightly up in the probe count, at least until this third hatch really starts pumping out the drones. He doesn't have to contend with any Queen production for the moment, so it's not super easy for Golden to make this work, at least short term. But long term, hatch pool just gives you such an amazing amount of production and income for that mid game. The Protosses can struggle. Also worth noting that we're going up to 10 lings very early on. This is the first few lava actually coming out from this triple hatchery, going purely into offensive units. They're checking to see if there's any pylons coming down. They want to be able to disrupt and try and stop any kind of aggression coming through from this mothership core and the zealots. They're waiting patient, just edging forward. We've got a Stalker also on its way through for now, but not able to take out that Overlord due to the mothership core being across the map, unable to give that high ground vision that's required. We've got 14 Zerglings now on the field. That should be enough to contend with these Zealots. They back against the corner though, so minimize their surface area as best they can. Micro coming out from Golden, takes down the first Zealot, takes down the second one, only losing about half of his lings doing that. A Stalker though is going to face a bit more of competition. The Zerglings looking to go for a counter-attack, but with the wall of completing, with more Stalkers coming through, shouldn't really struggle doing that as of yet. In come now the Zerglings though. They're going to try and get the wraparound on this Stalker. Manage to pin it in place with his buddy helping out though with a fire. It should be close. Will he survive? Gonna be ever so close. Should be able to now. Okay, this Stalker is so lucky. See, he's walking along in his four little legs. if this was realistic, he would be like crawling along the floor with one leg that was badly damaged, just like clawing and digging in, trying to escape. Those Zerglings were out for the kill. 18 more Lings coming through, and behind this, First is also going for his Dark Shrine. Dark Templar coming through, and Golden is not prepared for this at all. Note that he does not have a lair. He does not have a Spore Cooler. He's suspecting that this is all gateway pressure and wants to get as many Lings as he can. Do you know what Lings aren't very good against? Dark Templar that are invisible. But luckily for Golden, Spore Coolers get started up. Did he scout this? Has he seen it? No. This is just his spidey senses tingling. He's aware that things could be coming down. He's aware that the pressure could be coming in. And he should be able to stop it, actually. These two spores will shut down the Dark Templar if they're allowed to survive. But the Stalker's coming forward. 3 Queens plus the Lings from the back. Gonna get a nice round. The Mothership Core blew the Time Warp, so no mass recall out. These units are going to die. The Mothership Core dead. It is all gone. The Zerglings chasing down these Stalkers. The Queens focusing them. Somehow these Stalkers managed to sneak out yet again. But with speed just 6 seconds away from completion, we'll be able to chase down and get the rest of the kills. Zealots also closing up the distance, trying to get more done. 2 DTs warping in back at home, but they get seen as the shimmering comes through. Of course, these spores very vital to making this work. The lair nowhere near done, and the main base doesn't actually have a spore. So if the DTs go up in towards the main, that's where they could get some more damage. Do notice that, hang on, there's a spore there. The second DT heading up in towards the main base. 2 spores getting started up there, but for the moment, no detection available. The Queen getting focused. It can probably get away though. Meanwhile, a lot more spores on their way. Not much point really in First trying to take this out because he's not going to get the kill there. Another Dark Templar is coming through though. Going to be looking to get a little bit more damage here at the natural base, but the Spore Cooler is still up. The Queen shouldn't be able to kill the Dark Templar before it itself dies. So quickly going down. Unfortunately, more damage. Also on its way through. We've got additional attacks coming through. These DTs wandering about, just going for the odd little swipe, causing a lot of pressure. 14 roaches though, a lot of Zerglings on the field, and Golden comfortably at 65 drones. Shouldn't have too much trouble going into the mid-game. But with the third base coming down from First, if it's allowed to survive, First is still in a nice spot. He's got a good amount of economy, he's got a good amount of tech, and his +1 upgrade is a long way ahead of that of Golden's. Golden's entire build revolves around punishing this third, which he doesn't even know about. So, just coincidentally, having all of these roaches out, if he does get aggressive with them, and with 9 more and the roach speed coming down, he may just pay out very well for it. He also needs to identify that that third is coming. It's really quite critical he identifies that, because it's a very different placing, that third base. And indeed, down come these Lings, discover the third is in position, won't be able to escape away because there's too many sentries on the right there, so can't actually engage those, has to run through. Overcome a lot more Lings though joining the party. A lot of roaches also on their way across. This is full on pressure mode. But where's the detection? The Overseer ever so slow without the speed upgrade. Not going to be able to contend with this. That means the Dark Templar racking up quite a few kills already. Not going to last too much longer though. Mothership Core still trying to get a little bit of damage done, but not able to achieve that much. Emergency Pylon created. The roaches pushing up against these sentries as it stands. But the force fields are very, very good. Golden struggling to find an opportunity to go through, hits that pylon, cancels or at least prevents blink finishing for the moment, and heads towards the third. The third base has the photon cannon, has the nexus there, but looks like we're getting a little bit of a lag problem, unfortunately, from one of the observers. So I do hope that is resolved quickly, because this is a pivotal moment of this first game. If Golden is unable to take out this third base, First is in a beautiful spot. He's down a lot in supply, but remember, the majority of that is in the form of army supply. And roaches are very supply inefficient, and that means it's vital that Golden does some damage here. Meanwhile, as we wait for this countdown just to finish on up, this is a tense game. Waiting to see what else is coming down. Unfortunately, it seems that the Observer did get a blue screen of death. Never too fun. More roaches on the way for Golden. As the countdown finishes, we should begin yet again. The Roaches trying to find somewhere that they can push through. Take out that pylon yet again. The sentries aren't in a position to stop that. Taking down the Twilight Council denies the blink upgrade from being completed. That is a nice takedown. +2 had already begun though. The Roaches now in the natural base. First taking quite a chunk of damage. Sentries now getting picked off. And first spread very thin. Photon Overcharge at the natural is helping dealing with these Roaches. But there are just so many of them. Golden uses his burrow tech. Tunneling Claws not yet completed. Into the main he goes. Focusing a couple more of these pylons, and first only has the single immortal to try and deal with this. Still more damage on its way through. The roach count just ramping up higher and higher, more rallied across the map. The third base getting taken down, but it's still all very tense. That immortal's in a rough spot. If it unburrows, it can get taken down, and the immortal is going to fall. Nice pick off there. Meanwhile, the third base taking a lot of damage. Probes attempting to evacuate out. The roach count still spiraling, still rallying across. GG is called, and Golden is gonna take game number 1 of this best of 3 semi-final.